This week on Sport Nation, we've action from the PGA East Region Golf, and we head over to Italy for the Air France City Championship skiing. The Air France City Ski Championships are held each year at Courmayeur in Italy, with teams representing many of the large banks and financial institutions that are based in the heart of London. It's held as part of a wider competition that also includes polo and golf.
I think it's popular because the city boys, city girls, very competitive people. They like the opportunity. There isn't really the opportunity outside of what we do to race. And so they come back year after year. A lot of local rivalries taking part.
It's a chance to ski, have the same experience as a World Cup race. And I think it's the adrenaline. It's that feeling when you stand at the start gates and that satisfaction. It's something that I think everyone keeps coming back for.
The enjoyment factor is key to the success of the event, and the quality of the skiing keeps getting better and better.
The standard is phenomenal. We've got, Norwegian, French bankers here who, they've raced internationally. One of them's raced on the World Cup himself, I know. They've raced as recently as 6 years ago. So the standard here is phenomenal. It's not, it's no picnic for anybody.
There were teams from Accenture, Lloyds of London and Royal Bank of Scotland. They've all been successful here in the past and are all from a naturally competitive environment. The man they have to beat, though, is the star of the competition, Norway's Einar Johansen.
Well, Einar Johansen is the man who's set the standard here for the last 4 or 5 years, and I mean he's the benchmark. But he's only skied a couple of times this year. His wife's just had a second baby, and he's really busy at work. And there's a couple of other young boys come up who look a little bit sparky. So there's a group of French boys that a little bit we're all watching out for.
The GFI team have certainly added some French flair and colour to the event. And there are a few famous sportsmen out there too, trying to show they can adapt their talents to the slopes.
It's open to all levels of competition, but naturally what happens is you get people who are really good skiers who enter as a team, and so you get a chance to mix with guys who are top skiers, like Konrad Bartelski here gives a bit of coaching.
The total atmosphere of the event is key. People come here, they're serious skiers, they can ski very well, but there's a lot of fun as well, and you feel that it's a huge outlet for everybody. I think it's a great social occasion as well as a good sporting one.
Also on hand are members of the British ski team to offer up a few helpful pointers for the competitors.
You need 3 very good skiers. You need an okay skier, the ability to ski all day, party all night, and arrogance and a positive attitude helps as well.
Before the teams tackled Courmayeur's intimidating downhill slalom course, former British international skier Konrad Bartelski was on hand with the ski clinic to show them the ropes.
Take your fingers off. We take it down now and introduce you to the wonderful, magical world of giant slalom. Don't think you're doing anything different. You're skiing today. There's nothing different to what you do normally. The most important thing today is just breathe a lot. That's the easiest way to improve your skiing, and there's lots of fresh air. Get that inside your lungs and then you'll all ski better. So enjoy that. Off we go. Ski racing is something very different to what you normally do when you ski, and when you get into a start of a race, you've got a start number on, there's a timing wand, your whole body changes. And the first thing it does, it just tenses up, it contracts. So the idea of the clinic is to get people familiar with what they're going to be facing the following day in the race, because the race course we've got behind us here, it's actually pretty challenging. And you can't change their technique, but you can make them feel more confident about what they're doing. And if you're more confident in skiing in any sport, you'll always find it a lot easier and ski better.
Even the professional sportsmen wanted to listen in for a few pointers.
To get some tips from somebody who's, raced down the Hahnenkamm at top level, that's priceless. As a racing driver, I really love hearing other sportsmen talking about their discipline.
And this guy, he's skiing down and he's left his steering wheel behind. He never uses his ski poles. You don't carry your ski poles down with you for nothing. Ski poles are there like a conductor, you just think you want. I'm sure Graham Bell will have a reason to throw them away and he'll tell you you'll ski fast as a result of it. But these are the most important things. When I go skiing, the thing that gets most tired with me is actually my forearms. Very interesting is in ski racing, it's very much like motor racing. And I said to Damon, just drive the line like you do on a Grand Prix circuit. And he went down in his first run and he did just exactly that. And that's what I tried to, first thing I try and press on people is where they want to start making their turn. If you're skiing early ahead of the gates, then everything will happen as normal. If you all go too straight or you don't have the right line, then everything will be a bit of a shock and a surprise for you, and that's when you get caught out.
So it may be fine for a racing driver, but how does it relate if you've come from an athletics background?
Well, it's very interesting. Colin Jackson is an athlete who, when you're doing 110 metres hurdles, you've got 12 seconds to prove your best. So you're going to have to think in such incredible detail. What I try to do is put it into how I see their sport might have been understood. You know, your whole life has been training on strides. Your whole life has been strides, hasn't it? Yes. Skiing is the same, except you've got to think, instead of vertically, or forward, just think sideways. Think more left, right, left, right. So you're actually accentuating your weight transfer. He was fascinating. Although I think the Strictly Come Dancing might have helped him most from skiing, because we were talking about hips and letting the hips move. But it's not a question of making hips move, it's letting hips move. And he will understand and grasp the difference of that. It's a very subtle difference.
You know, when you ski with somebody who's very experienced in a form of race skier themselves, the tips they give them are vital. Especially when you're a young skier like I am, you just got to learn from the best if you want to improve. And for him, just watching my body posture and seeing how that works really, and how I can improve my body posture, which ultimately will help my skiing.
His progress was staggering, so I'm quite excited about the race day to see him step up quite big time.
When the teams were let loose on the dual slalom course, some found it tougher than others. This is our first event, and it's a knockout competition with teams of 4 skiers taking part, and they were certainly having some fun out there. So here's Matt Chilton to guide us through the action.
Thank you, Trevor. We'll dive headlong into the action of this Accenture Dual Parallel Slalom Relay event. We'll join it in the second semi. Lloyds of London are already through to the final from the first semi. Now, the weak link here for GFI, Ben Eam in the blue course, Peter Beardshaw in the red, already through. Peter Beardshaw will hand over to Antoine Gordon, but GFI have their fast racers still to come. Terrific atmosphere. Now Antoine Gordon for Accenture in the red course, but Simon Dides from GFI, a ski instructor from Morzine, is closing the gap quickly, and he's crossing the line in some style there. James Saw now in the red course for Accenture, but bearing down on him, Eric Berthaud, who's very fast indeed, off that little roller. And there's just a few metres. James Saw across the line. Jerome Noiraz, last to go for GFI, and he's right alongside Andrea Gangeri. Jerome Noiraz moves into the front. This is easy. What a fight back from GFI. They've come from nowhere. Jerome crosses the line to win that semi-final for GFI. Accenture beaten in the end, despite that early lead. So congratulations to the GFI boys, coming from behind to earn a place in the final of the dual parallel, but they're up against another formidable team in Lloyds of London, who won the team competition at last year's championships. Ben, Simon, Eric and Jerome, the fast Frenchmen from the Porte du Soleil, up against the Lloyds boys, Chris, Anthony and the Guarini Moraldi brothers, Alessandro and Filippo. So Ben Eam skiing the first leg for GFI, their weak link. Chris Oliveira fast for Lloyds, and he's opened up a considerable lead. He hands over to Barrow boy. Anthony Barrow, here he comes now, but the gap is closing with Simon Dides closing down on Anthony Barrow with every turn. Barrow pushing hard, trying to maintain his momentum to the bottom of the course. He'll hand over to the first of the Guarini Moraldi brothers. It's Alessandro, going nicely, but a bit wide on some of these turns. And Eric Berthaud can see the target ahead of him, and he's right alongside Alessandro as they get to the bottom of the course. Alessandro hands over to brother Filippo, but Filippo's up against it, because look at Jerome Noiraz go. He's flying down this red course, absorbing the little kicker there, and Jerome moves into first position for GFI, and they win the final of the parallel slalom relay in some style again. Brilliant fight back again from GFI. They're right in contention now, despite those revolting ski jackets.
Apparently they've been winning the last 7 editions. Well, that was very tricky to go over those guys, and we just overtake them on the last hit with our ski racer Jerome just there, and he's done really well as well. We got a mixed team, like a few French guys and one
a few English.
Yeah, and
one was beef with
and
us.
one was beef with us, and he's done really well. And he support well the country of Great Britain, and that was very good.
We all thought the French were stylish, but where did he get that jacket?
I found that in London actually. Yeah, it's a great outfit from France apparently. But yeah, I quite like this one. It's the winner actually. The pink is the winner.
Pink was the winner in dramatic style, setting up great anticipation for tomorrow.
Very big day. I reckon there's 5 teams that can win it. Now that's amazing actually, because they're very, very good, these teams. So really, there's not much in it between them, and we'll just have to see how it goes.
So as all the skiers head off for some well-earned après ski and to collect their race bibs, we look forward to the giant slalom tomorrow. We've plenty more from GFI and City Ski after the break.
Welcome back to Sport Nation and Courmayeur for the Air France City Ski Championships, where the heart of London's financial district are taking their competitive edge out on the piste, helped along by some former sports stars and members of the British ski team.
I'm surprised at how good people are and take it really seriously, but I was a little bit surprised. But no, it's good skiers here. Generally, I found that last year as well, so I kind of knew what to expect.
It's been pretty competitive out there, and I've had to keep on my game just to make sure that I stay on top. But yeah, there's Einer's here and Conrad, so you've got to ski well to stay on the top.
They're joined by the likes of Alan Baxter and Shemi Alcott in a very promising British Alpine team.
This year, we've got a really strong team this year. Our women's side, obviously Shemi, she's so close to being on top. It's really good for the rest of us. And I've had a lot of personal bests this year, which has been good. And also the boys' side is stronger than we've ever had. Dave and a few of the others are skiing so fast. So it's looking good for the future and Olympics in a few years.
Even with a break in the ski season, the group is still out on the slopes.
You know, you can't just stop skiing altogether or you kind of lose a little edge. So it's good to come here, be able to relax, but you can keep on top of your skiing as well with a little race. So you still got the racing edge to your skiing as well. If you have too long off, then it kind of goes away a bit and it takes you a bit to get back. So it's good to keep on the racing.
So with the amateurs looking on, our GB skiers showed them how it was done. Pam came flying down the giant slalom course in a time of 50.32 seconds, and Dave set what looked like an unbeatable time of an amazing 48.56 seconds. Fortunately for the rest of the skiers, Pam and David aren't officially competing. So to take us through the rest of the event, it's back to our commentator, Matt Chilton.
Thank you, Trevor. We join the women's individual competition with just the last few to go. The time to beat so far is the time from Michelle Muir from Accenture, 1:00.67, and here is Candida Lahaye from GAM. A reasonably experienced racer, Candida, has been tackling giant slalom courses since she was a youngster, and that experience showing here on the top part of the course. But as she moves into the middle part, that's where she's got to get it right. Husband Tom, also racing, he's watching at the bottom of the course. 1 minute, 0.67 to beat. I think she'll be inside that time, but by how much? A couple of skids from Candida here. She's a bit wide, almost lost it completely. Now she tucks in for the line, and Candida leads the way by 0.75 of a second. 59.92, the new target. Sarah Mann from Goldman Sachs, one of the pre-race favourites, on her way at the top of the course. Now this is smooth from Sarah. A little bit old school in her technique, skis locked together. Now she's beginning to relax. Very tense for these racers, with everybody watching, the course cutting up all the time. As each racer comes down, there's a real rut through the ideal racing line, but Sarah Mann has ridden that rut beautifully. 59.92 the time to beat. A bit shaky over the last few turns, but Sarah Mann has done enough, and she leads by a massive 2.31 seconds. Good run. Last to go, Bethany Garner from the Ski Club of Great Britain. Out of the start gate, a steady looking start from Bethany. Now she needs to put her foot down a bit here. She's getting tucked wherever possible, but it looks a little conservative. She has to be sure of finishing. Now she moves into the middle part of the course. We'll expect Bethany to open it up a bit here. That's a decent turn. Now she comes into view of the spectators at the bottom of the course, and Bettany looking to beat that time of 57.61. I don't think it's going to happen. How close can she get? Bettany Garner crosses the line now, 2.78 seconds down, which means that Sarah Mann wins the women's competition. Confirmation of the results: Bettany Garner third, Candida LaHaye second, and the champion from Goldman Sachs, Sarah Mann, with that winning time of 57.61 seconds. So to the men's event, lots of potential talent here, including the boys from GFI. And Simon Dides decided that he would abandon his garish ski pants and ski in his underpants alone. It put him into first position with a time of 55.03. 3 to go in the City Ski Championships men's giant slalom. This is Andrea Gangari from Accenture. Time to beat 55.03. Gangari, of Italian heritage, spent his childhood racing in the Italian Alps, and a decent skier. Top part of the course, he's attacking it nicely, Andrea. Good turns there. Now we'll pick him up towards the end, and this is a really good run. He looks a little stiff in his upper body, Andrea. Could do with relaxing and letting the skis run over the last half a dozen turns. Can he beat that time from Simon Dides? 55.03. Andrea tucking in for the finishing line, and he's in first position. Our new leader, Andrea Gangari, 54.82 seconds. Peter Beardshaw in the start from Accenture. 3 or 4 stabs with his ski poles. Now he starts to work the skis through these early turns. Relatively flat at the top. There's steeper pitches to come. A little wobble. Peter certainly attacking, clipping these gates on just about every turn with his shoulders. Now a steeper section, and we'll pick him up towards the end of his run with the legs burning, and Peter Beardshaw still with work to do, and that time of 54.82 seconds to beat. A little shaky. Good recovery from Beardshaw. Now he wraps his ski poles around his body and crosses the line with a decent lead of 1.18 seconds. Peter Beardshaw, our new leader. Last to go from Lloyd's of London, Filippo Guerini Maraldi. Decent start from Filippo. He'll look to get low and aerodynamic wherever possible here on the flat part of the course, try and build up some speed and hope to harness that speed as the course gets more demanding and steeper towards the bottom. Decent start from Filippo. Filippo Guerini Maraldi pushing hard. I don't think he's done enough to take the lead away from Peter Beardshaw. He's missed it by 1.8 seconds, which means that Peter Beardshaw wins the City Ski Championships Giant Slalom title. It's a 1-2 for Accenture. Andrea Gangari taking second. Simon Dides of GFI in third position. So now we move from the amateurs to the pros. The Super FIS category is the toughest competition of them all. We're going to see if Ina Johansson can make it 7 years in a row as champion. Ina leads the way after the first run, clear of Robert Brown with Matthias Westling in third. It could all change with one run of giant slalom still to come. The Super FIS category is for racers who have competed at international level at some point. Here's Matthias Westling from the Royal Bank of Scotland, 49.54 his first run, and you can see the leap in quality now as we move to the Super FIS category. Westling, a very decent ski racer indeed, and he's pushing hard on the early stages of this giant slalom course, which is well and truly cut up now. Westling calling on his reserves of stamina as he approaches the bottom of the course. Oh, a little skid sideways. Good recovery from Matthias Westling. And now just the finishing line, and he cuts the timing beam with a total time of 1 minute 43.43 seconds. That's our new leader. Tom Brown. Another very good racer. Good aggressive start from Tom, and he's still using his ski poles in the early stages, trying to get an extra modicum of momentum. Very good start. Shoulder barging these control gates. Great angles on the turn. Very good skiing from Tom Brown. Now the key part of the course. Can he hold it together? There's a deep rut through this section of the course, and Tom Brown is riding it well. Last couple of turns, and Tom Brown is home and dry. And he's just missed it. 0.84 behind Westling. Very close. Next to go, Chris Oliveira from Lloyd's of London, the fastest of the Lloyd's boys. And a really aggressive top section from Chris. This is nice skiing. Pulls around the body there. Spotting a section where he could try and pick up a little bit of time with extra aerodynamics, and we'll find him now at the bottom of the course. And this looks really good from Chris Oliveira. Getting bumped around slightly, the knees getting punished by the bumps and corrugations in this course. And Oliveira has fought tooth and nail all the way down. Has he done enough? 1.01 down. Not quite enough for Chris Oliveira. Back at the top, Rob Brown is on course from the Royal Bank of Scotland. This is serious looking ski racing from Rob. He's barely moved from the tuck over the first dozen turns. Really fast and aggressive. Now, has he got his ski preparation right? That could prove crucial on the final half dozen turns. Almost lost control of that right ski. Managed to drag it back under his control. Very smooth and fast. Vessling's lead could be in danger here. And 0.13 quicker. Rob Brown moves into first position. Rob Brown leads the way. One man to go. Looking for his 7th title in succession. It's Einar Johansson from Merrill Lynch. The fastest man consistently at the City Ski Championships. The Norwegian with Europa Cup racing experience. May spend his week sitting behind a desk, but he's fit and he's always fast and he's pushing really hard here, Einar Johansson. Oh, a couple of mistakes. Could Johansson have run out of steam? He's got to make these last couple of gates count. Over the tails of his skis, a spectacular finish from Johansson. And look at the time difference. It's a whopping 2.63 seconds. There's no stopping Einar Johansson. He almost came unstuck here, but his experience saw him keep on course, and he's won again in 2008. Johansson is the champion for the 7th time, ahead of Robert Brown, Matthias Vestling and Tom Brown in 4th. And the RBS men are the team champions, beating last year's winners Lloyds by some considerable margin. So congratulations to them after another brilliant day of skiing.
So what a fantastic 2 days of skiing with plenty of thrills, spills, hard-fought competition and some very worthy winners.
There's been a couple of guys breathing down my neck over the last few years, and after the first run I was only 2/10 in front of Robert Brown, and it was a rough course for the second one, and I was far from sure that I would